Evening, Thomas.
Hey, guess what, Mike?
Hey, what's
They're
up?
gonna. There's a Marvel superhero character that's gonna get killed.
So somebody's getting whacked over at Marvel? Oh
Yeah,
no!
yeah,
You don't say.
yeah. I don't think Tony Soprano has anything to do with it, though. He's at the bottom being, or has he been killed? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Possible,
know. I don't know. Yeah,
possible spoilers.
yeah. Just to give the foreshadowing here, we'll get into this one this week. But first, before we do, we would very
hmm
much appreciate it if you could like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to see us come back or be notified when we do our thing. And drop it. We have a
Yep.
two-prong show, or this is our
hmm
weekly grab bag, which we're about to get
hmm
into. But
Yep.
I did
Yep.
want to call out.
Collectively, we are the first, the last, the Nerdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm
thank you for
Thomas,
mentioning
and
that.
I'm with Mike, the
Yep.
Destroyer.
Yes, and I just wanted to kind of also kind of throw a shout out to our latest main event, Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. We covered that,
hmm
and that is somewhere along. Oh, that's the bonus one. That is not the one that I wanted. Oh, yep. Just wanted to kind of throw that in there before we get going too far away. But check that
hmm
out and check us out. We'll also be doing some more live events here as we go forward. But without further ado, I'll throw it back to you since I've promoted us a little bit more. So this is what's going on here. You are our chief comic book officer here at the first the last Nerdom Industries for the nerditos out there. Round
Nerditos,
up.
yep. hmm
Yeah. So as our resident comic book expert here, so what's going on with Marvel? Like what the hell? What's Disney Marvel doing?
Yeah, yeah. It leaked last week. I think Ethan Van Sciver might have had the drop on it, and but yeah, they're killing off Miss Marvel in Amazing Spider-Man 26. You could pull up the article. I believe we have one there for
Yep.
Miss Marvel,
Pull it up
and
here.
yeah, the now the funny thing is they can't kill her off in her comic book because her comic book is currently canceled. So
Right.
they can't kill. So there's not really an interest in the character. And then I'm currently reading Amazing Spider-Man. And if you're reading solely Amazing Spider-Man, and you're interested in solely Spider-Man, you would I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't noticed Miss Marvel in the comic book because
Right.
she only appears as her alter ego Kamala Khan
Right.
out of costume. She's actually Peter Parker's co-worker at Norman Osborn's company. So he works with Kamala Khan. so so there, as far as if you're just solely reading Amazing Spider-Man, she's a coworker, not even a friend. They've had some nice conversations between each other, but she's just a coworker. So and then and I've read issue 25, so the next one 26, which comes out at the end of the month,
Right.
she gets killed. It's purported and Marvel has confirmed that she does get killed in issue 26, and they. It's like okay, sure, and they're gonna come out. I think a month or two later, they're gonna have a special one shot, the death of Miss Marvel. If you scroll down in the article, I believe they showed the cover of that issue. Maybe
Um.
no.
Uh-oh. No, that's all they have here is just
Let me
image.
let me let me see if I can find that for us.
For
Yeah,
sure.
death of.
Meanwhile,
As soo-
absolutely horrible spelling. There we go. All right, dumb. Oh man.
you let's see. I think I might have. Yeah, here we go. My bad. I should have checked. Let's see. I should have checked. That
Well, in the
article.
meantime, I'll just throw it back and say, go check out our latest episode where we cover Conan. real quick, and if you could
Yeah,
tell us how you think we're doing, or if you have ideas for future shows, that'd be great. While Thomas finds
yeah, I just sent it to you.
right. Oh, there it is. Oh, now it's not working. Oh well. Did you send it to me on the chat?
On Viber. Yeah, it's let's
That's
see.
funny. Let me restart my Viber while we talk about
Okay.
this. Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
like a standard, like the kind of, it's like a joke, with these things, like where they kill off a whatever, and like you were just calling out, not on the main title, happens in Spider-Man, and you can back this up. Tell us a little bit about Spider-Man and how, like, how's that kind of quality been? I guess is what I'm asking for the latest Spider-Man arc, if you're familiar or have read.
Well, I talked about it our last podcast. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, it's been kind of controversial. A lot of people have disliked it. It's been okay. It's maybe not the best run so far. They kind of had a jump in time and where something happened between Mary Jane and Peter Parker, and the past few issues they've kind of caught up with. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think there was
There we go.
a problem, yeah, with me on my end of things. I think
Yeah, I finally got it
I
here. Let me plug it in.
yeah, I'm not always good with them computer things, so I think I got messed up on the thing. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
there's
okay.
the there's a shot of I guess probably from Amazing Spider-Man 26 of Miss Marvel. But yeah, you look
Yeah,
at this
yeah, I
cover.
did see this cover before, like when some
Yeah.
of the comic sphere, where folks that I follow, would mention it
Hmm.
in passing, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
very
Now.
unironically and
Mhm.
very, like, yeah, this is normal Marvel stuff.
Right. And with Amazing Spider-Man, he's there on his knees, weeping, in torment. And this is basically his coworker. I mean, back in the day when we were just coworkers, I wouldn't, if I died dramatically, I wouldn't expect you to fall down on your knees and do that for me. But yeah, and then all these other Marvel characters, I don't know how well they know Miss Marvel either. I know the one that knows her the most is Captain Marvel, because there's been
Yeah.
several issues with them together, and she's in the background there, just kind of looking stoically. So, why isn't Kamala Khan's family around her? Or,
Well,
grieving. It's because the comic books. Her comic book is not popular.
not
Um,
really.
her her character has weird powers in the sense that her hands get big. She's sort of like Mr. Fantastic, but it's just her hands,
Okay.
which is one of the
Some kind of
stupidest
energy.
powers I've ever heard. She basically has man hands, like the Seinfeld episode. uh, and what young girl doesn't want man hands? But but yeah. So you have that, and now with the Miss Marvel TV show, they changed up her powers. I didn't watch the show, but I think she has like
Right.
electronic, or her powers is more electrical or whatever. So they made her powers cooler in the show, and this is weird, ramping up to the um, to her movie. I mean, she's going to be in the new Marvels movie, and yeah, it's weird to kill off the character, but I think the fact that no one's interested in her comic book, this is sort of like a last ditch effort to try to drum up support, or is this kind of fake outrage? Oh my gosh, she's dead. But if you've read any comic books, you know that you know like the death of Superman, the death of you know who, Robin. They all come back. Just recently, when the new Doctor Strange movie was coming out, they killed off Doctor Strange, and he's already back with his new title and everything. So I think it's just a way of kind of drumming up support. Now, a lot of people in the Twitterverse are complaining about, how dare you kill Kamala Khan, and there's all this outrage about them killing her off, and um, I doubt any of those people read the comic book. They're just something to be outraged about. There's also been the outcry that she's being fridged or being fridged. I don't know if you've heard that term before.
Mm-mm.
As far as comic books, Gail Simone back in I think
Or like
the early
cobwebbed.
no, it's a reference to a Green Lantern storyline. I
Mm.
believe she wrote the article back in the 2000s. It's using a female character to further a male superhero character's plot or story. So
Oh,
she's
okay.
being killed off to further a Spider-Man story.
All right.
Um,
That's
and,
point A to point
and
B. Yeah.
yeah, and the fridged comment is in reference to in her article she referenced the there was a storyline with one of the Green Lanterns where his girlfriend at the time gets killed by a villain, super villain, and gets stuffed into the refrigerator.
Oh God,
so,
Jesus Christ.
so now it's being termed being fridged, which is
That's
kind of
funny.
weird, but
That is
yeah,
very
so
weird.
there's a little bit of inside baseball for comic books. So if you want to be in the know or be a nerdito, you could throw around the fridge comment in near the water cooler to look even cooler
Yeah, and of
with
course
your.
the rumor mill says that what are they going to do in November? Oh, bring her back to do a little bit of a tie-in with the movie.
Mhm,
That's not official. That's just speculation on my part, and
mhm,
not my original speculation either. But it's kind
mhm.
of obvious. And the thing,
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
nobody really cared. Like this was not the same thing as when Superman died. Not even close. And you might have your quibbles with that too, from ancient past, but still not the same thing.
But even back then, I was jaded and was like, "Hey, Superman's coming back." I mean, come on. I think everybody knew at that time, except for maybe a handful of people, that Superman was coming back. He was only going
Right.
to be dead for a little while. But yeah, it's kind of a running joke. I think the only person that hasn't come back that has been killed off is Gwen Stacy. I think she's the only person that has stayed dead so far, which was Spider Man's girlfriend back in the day, and
Right.
she's one of those that are the fridged girls because she was basically killed to further and develop the Peter Parker character. But yeah, so yeah, like you said, they're gonna kill her off in issue 26 of Amazing Spider-Man. Then a
Right.
month or two later, they're coming out with the special book, The Fallen Friend. They want to see how that'll sell. It'll probably sell pretty decent because speculators. Anytime a character dies, there's gonna be a bump in sales. Just in case it does someone wants it later on, and say when the movie comes out, if everybody falls in love with their character, that comic book may be worth something. So people will get that, and then
Yeah, it's no Dan
mhm.
Slott. I'll say that, from
Yeah,
what you've said and what other people have said around it. But make up your own mind. Go buy it. Wouldn't kill you
right.
to try it. But
Yeah, and then like you said, she'll return by the time the new movie comes out, and
right,
hopefully they're hoping all this will bolster the sales. But I don't
which they
even
won't.
know if yeah, I don't even know if Disney really
I
cares about the
and
sales on comic books at this point.
No, they don't.
It's
No, they don't. They really don't. But then again, it's kind of like a farm system, or it should be. But they never. They take. They're just peculiar about what they pick and choose from to like weave into the big storyline. I think the next big one is the Secret Wars, some kind of bastardization of the Secret Wars, whatever, which is fine. It's whatever. But Yeah, I I wanted to say something, and I want I guess I want to try to be somewhat positive, but I mean, if it's for you or whatever, I will say this. I'm on the hook to go see the movies, the Marvels, regardless of whether it's good or bad or something in between or whatever. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
see it with my daughter, which is cool. She liked Captain Marvel, which is fine. Was it my favorite of the the 10-year run that we had that was really great films, arguably, that everybody enjoyed. The build up to the Avengers was masterfully done. Not all of the Marvel movies were super great, but they were better than not than what we got today. But minus Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is the last hoorah for that. But anyway, moving on into are you? I think were we ready to move on into
Yeah.
more more Disney Marvels and everything
Yeah.
adjacent news.
Yeah. I think it's a Disney centric episode, which
I think you're right.
kind of ties me into I canceled my Disney Plus. So.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. You mentioned well, yeah.
Mm,
So what what's going on here, man? Like I was the one. Like I walked away a while ago just because like
yeah.
now if
Yeah.
my kiddos, I'm not even gonna pretend as a parent. I'm not trying to be a high horse here or whatever, call shots or whatever. Nothing like that. Just out
Hmm.
of sheer practicality, my kids don't really give two shits about this. Like they don't care about Disney Plus. I mean, is so. What
Hmm.
sparked the you to just be like, nah, I'm good.
Nothing to watch. I have no interest in watching the new Ant-Man movie that just came out on Disney Plus.
Wow.
I haven't bothered to see the new Black Panther, solely because Black Panther isn't in the movie. So
Right.
why watch a Black Panther movie without Black Panther? It's like watching a Superman movie without Superman. It's like, what's the point? And then
I agree with that. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
it's that's kind of and then none of the reviews made me think it would be spectacular to watch.
So
I still
you're
haven't seen the Eternals because I don't want to see it.
I haven't either.
I might pick it back up when there's something to watch. Yeah, the Ahsoka show comes out I think in August, and then when Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out in a month or two, I'll probably want to watch that. So yeah, I'll pick it up when there's something to watch. Currently, there's nothing I want to watch on Disney, so that's
Yeah.
basically yeah. Why pay for something you're not using?
Yeah, and I walked away a while ago, just because it's not love or hate. It's just there's nothing there for me either. Like Moon Knight was the last hoorah that I had that I cared
Hmm.
to. I might consider dipping in for What If season two, but to be honest with you, I think they're going to shit can that. I haven't heard anything good or bad. I think it's on the docket, but I don't think it's going to survive because they just wrote down Willow. They wrote down a lot of things that
Hmm.
they're going to put in the vault.
I think Willow's gonna stay in the vault.
I think it is going to stay
Uh-huh.
in the vault
Uh,
for a long time. And
mhm.
and with that being said, like this is kind of just I just you had anything else to? Oh shit, we didn't even cover this. Yeah, Disney. So anyway, all
Mhm.
this bad news for Disney lately is just like they can't keep the eyeballs on the thing, and
Mhm.
this was a massive investment for them for like a Star Wars
Mhm.
tie-in that is directly tied to the sequel trilogy, the new Star Wars, not your stupid old Star Wars. No, we got to kill off all those characters, which is fine had they been successful with what they have. But I
Mhm.
kind of just feel like we're the sequel trilogy. The best way I can put it is it feels like they just keep walking around the same tree. You know, like Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. They get lost in the woods and they just keep walking around in circles. That's what it kind of feels like with this
Yeah.
merry-go-round of Disney
Yeah. Yeah,
movies.
they went into it with no game plan, and it shows. So, yeah, I was going to ask you if you had gotten your tickets yet to go on your Starcruiser hotel cruise, but
Nope,
I guess not. Yeah, so yeah,
nope.
back in the day, this would be a no brainer. When people were used to be hyped on Star Wars, this maybe if it was a little cheaper, also, I think the
Right.
prices what probably mostly sunk it. But yeah, it's
I can't
yeah.
believe like how much they want for this. Like
Hmm.
even when it's on sale, it's
Hmm.
man. I mean, you could fly to Europe.
Yeah.
You could fly to Europe. I could fly my
Right.
family to Europe on this on like one night. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. And
that's insane. That's insane that you think that I'm gonna like I could go to a beautiful country in a different part of the world and like and make real memories and not just like
hmm.
basically be in a cart in a concrete box or the back
Uh-huh.
of a box truck or whatever the hell. Like because I've seen those pictures.
Right.
Like I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
them, but what the
Yeah.
fuck? Pardon my language, but what the fuck? What are you thinking,
Hmm.
man?
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah. And
unbelievable.
yeah, and even forget about the price. If someone told me, yeah, I'll pay you way, free, you got a free trip, you can go there and enjoy your stay there, free of charge, I would still go. I don't know if I really want
I'm
to.
good. I'd probably be like, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
I
take
mean,
the airfare down there and I'll go to Universal or I'll go to the
and
last known good Disney part of the park or whatever.
right now, in this is they created some random Starcruiser to be on. Now, if they had created, say, Tatooine, or created some environment that you're
Original?
familiar with. Yeah, yeah, from the
Original?
original series. Yeah.
No, you don't say. Don't stop talking like that. Ooh, oh.
What if they created like a section of the Death Star that you could run around in, and have some, stay in one of the in a section of that, that would have been that would have been cool,
Uh-oh. I think we lost Thomas. But to put a exclamation point on what he's saying, it just to go with what Thomas was saying. How in the world can you literally have a cash machine there and just reuse some of the original concepts and content and locations and thrown in a Darth Vader or a Luke Skywalker or a Lando Calrissian or a whatever. Yeah, I was just
hey.
making your point. Well, before you left there, like I was just making the point that you literally have it. It boggles the mind when you literally have a cash, a money making machine, and all you got to do is just throw in, a Darth Vader here, or Luke Skywalker there, or Lando Calrissian, or whatever. Like
Hmm.
I mean, there's just so many things that you can like pick and choose from. Especially, I think this is supposed to be live action, like literally,
Hmm.
there's a theater going around you as you interact with all these people,
Yeah, you're
and that
supposed to
is
be on
not a
a
cheap.
cruiser. Yeah.
Right. That literally
Yeah.
these people are role playing like this scenario, whatever the hell it is, out with you.
Hmm.
Like what, like you said, Star Cruiser. No, what is that? I don't know what that
Right.
is. Like I
Yeah.
know what Tatooine is. I know what that the dive bar is. I know what
Hmm.
you know. You know.
Yeah. What would have been cool is, say, maybe you're on like a one of the Star Destroyers or whatever, and
Right.
it's some random Star Destroyer even, and but you're on the ship, going to like a particular battle in one of the Star
Right.
Wars movies, and
Right.
that's taking place outside the Star Destroyer, as you're living there, and
Right.
during that time, that would have been cool, and you'd see Luke Skywalker's ship fly by or something, and
That it
that's
it boggles the mind that they would do that they would squander an opportunity like literally I think
hmm.
like you remember the old ad libs books.
Hmm.
Some of those would be licensed for certain kind of things. Like I bet you
Hmm.
if you had a Disney Star Wars ad libs book, I bet you whatever the hell you came up with would be better than whatever the hell this thing is. Like
Right. Yeah.
this thing. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
doing my fucking pointing wrong. I can't point right.
Yeah.
This thing, whatever. This stupid, whatever the hell this is. Like I
That
just can't.
thing.
And the sad part is
Yeah.
too. I just wanted to kind of bring the humanness into it too. I did read a few paragraphs that said like they actually had people. They moved people over from California to Florida to become part of this new crew, and now these people are shit out of luck. I think I hope that's not the case. But
Hmm.
I have also heard that Disney does their workers dirty sometimes. They don't
Oh
take care
yeah,
of them.
yeah. They're like,
Um,
I guess, like a lot of big corporate behemoths. I've always heard bad things about Disney. Like whenever they took over Star Wars, and a
mhm,
lot of those legends or legacy books,
mhm.
um, they brought them over, and they try to weasel their way out of their contracts with
Thing. Yep.
their pre-existing contracts. I know Dean Foster has mentioned, he wrote Splinters of the Mind's Eye, the classic Star Wars novel. They were trying to get out of the paying him his royalties from that book, since they switched over.
Yeah, they
Which,
did a dear they did a dear friend brother dirty. So
uh,
I have ulterior motive to not to be
mhm.
naturally inclined to dislike Disney, the company,
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
opinion. But I'm no
yeah.
different. I'm like I harbor that, and I will always
Mhm.
remember that. But anyway, as you were saying, go
Yep.
on. Sorry.
But I think Lizzo and Jack Black will save Star Wars and Disney.
Tone deaf. Like how could you? What are you doing, Disney?
Mhm. Yep.
What are you doing? Yeah, but no, this is just like kind of this is just the tip of the iceberg. It just seems like where Warner Brothers was probably about a year ago, maybe, like when there was rumors of like really poor, like there was no captain at the helm, or whenever Zaslav before pre Zaslav, they had a hell of a time writing the ship, and if you recall, they wrote down billions of dollars of things, and they
Hmm.
were eating debt left and right. But that's now it's Disney's turn, I guess.
Hmm.
And with that being said, this is kind of like I
Yep.
threw. Normally, we don't really cover
Yep.
this, but like I think it's apropos. Like unless you have something else to add to the Star Wars Disney
Nah.
malaise.
No, but Warner Brothers is starting to get those wins, like with Hogwarts Legacy. That's a huge success for them.
Oh yeah, oh
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
think if you and that should be a lesson to Disney, if you treat the property right
Yep.
and cater to the fans and give the fans what they want, without listening to all the nonsense that may be happening around the project. If As long as you focus on what's good about the project, what
You deliver.
yeah, if you deliver, the fans will come in
Yeah,
droves.
and just another case in point too, to kind of to be fair too. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man for the IP for a lot of things. So Sony, and whenever you see Spider-Man, Sony has to have some kind of say or play in that arena. And one thing I want to
Hmm.
say is, which is really really surprising, and this is also rare. You talk about going from a video game to making it to a movie. That's not always a successful venture of late, but it is for certain things. But the opposite is true. Taking major IP like this, like any of this, and turning it into a video game is much much harder to do. And Sony has been able to do that for PlayStation for Spider-Man game, and even the Miles Morales one as well,
Hmm.
to the point of even having it move off of and be available for PC, which is
Yep.
is substantial because Sony and Microsoft in the computing world are cats and dogs. So the fact that they
Hmm.
can see eye to eye and have that happen is just.
Yeah.
And again, I go back and say, where is certainly their Star Wars video games are much more successful, I would argue, but not to like how they could be, especially when
Yeah.
you have like where's the Avengers game? Where is the Iron
It
Man
came,
game?
yeah, it came out. The Avengers game came out a few months back and flopped. Or I think it last year. But to give
Right.
credit where
Case in point.
credit's due, the Star Wars Survivor game just recently come out. I think it's doing fairly well, although it's had its
I
fair
think
share of glitches and problems. And then also Spider-Man 2 will come out towards the end of the year, and I think everybody's looking forward to that.
right for PC. Yeah, well, well, and
Or
I'd argue to the Star Wars, the Star Wars has a better track record for video games than other IP. So there
mhm.
is that, but it's again still going back to the wild success that Hogwarts was. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's not. It's the two are not the same thing. It's not the same
right.
thing. But
Yep, yeah.
um, yeah, anyway, I would beat a dead horse, but I was just gonna I pulled this
A,
one
a,
in.
a dead Wookiee. I
Yeah, a
like to
dead
say.
Wookiee, right, right. Well, a dead Wookiee, a dead Han, a dead Leia, a dead Luke, a dead. I mean, all of them. They're all dead.
Mhm,
But the Little Mermaid. Speaking of dying, Miss Marvel's dead. The Little Mermaid
mhm,
is the latest. Like I've read a couple headlines. I don't know that I'm going to go see this, or probably won't. But it's just kind of like this strategic roadmap that Disney's on is not working. It's not working. This is just the tip of the iceberg for like things that are coming down over summer. And I don't know. I don't think that if anything, if we cover anything, we might do like maybe the original or maybe our favorite Indiana Jones. I'm not seeing the new one, but unless there's like warranted. But from what
mhm.
I've heard, it's not. It's a no
Yeah.
go. But
What was that
anyway,
title? Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the
Dial of Destiny.
AARP.
Yeah, yeah, geriatric Jones. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of highlight this and like anyway, it's just like one of many Disney properties that just isn't looking like it's going to be a good summer for them. It looks like they're going to be Guardians of the Galaxy looks like it's going to be the last good thing this year. Potentially. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
But
there's I think in November they have a Disney animated movie come to the theater called Wish. I
oh, see
watched
that movie.
yeah, I watched
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your Movie Sucks. He watched the trailer for it. I watched
Okay.
his reaction to it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, he was very underwhelmed and unimpressed. He wanted someone to redo because it's Disney's Wish, and he wanted someone to take Wish and redo the letters to say shit. And
That's funny.
one of his fans in the audience did that up. So
That's funny. Well,
so when you see that logo, think of that.
yeah, while we're saying dropping names, like I caught a little bit of commentary from Valiant Renegade about how he is very curious to see like like how this is going to compare with the last kind of few Thanksgiving type movies that Disney's done, and they've had quite a few stinkers lately. So it'll be interesting what
Yeah.
what happens. But anyway, this kind of brings us to the next point of like okay, so I pulled this in because like it basically they're gonna have a Hawkeye sidekick spinoff, okay,
Hmm.
which nobody knows who this person is, one that I'm aware of, and I'm pretty pretty good for understanding the depth of certain American comic books, Marvel for sure, and DC for sure. Not like you, but like what? So so it's Echo, a deaf Native American character who will be played by blah, which is fine. I'm sure the actress is wonderful, but you did this come out at any time recently, or even in the old days for comics at all? Like, or is this a completely
Uh,
new, brand new? Uh,
she was introduced in Daredevil. I forget. I don't think I was reading Daredevil at the time.
okay,
It was in
see
the
that makes
2000s.
sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
from a comic book
yeah.
perspective,
In the 2000s. I forget exactly when. But I wasn't reading or reading Daredevil at the time, so I wasn't familiar with her.
right?
I was reading the current run of Avengers, and she she gets the power of the Phoenix. The Phoenix was shopping around to various superheroes to
Like Jean Grey
give
Phoenix.
the power. Yeah, yeah, they're
Okay,
shopping
all right,
around.
okay,
The entity was shopping around to a person to give the powers to,
right,
and she was the one, and I was like, who? That's
right.
even as a comic book fan, I was not really familiar with her. So yeah, she gets the Phoenix powers. She since in the last big multiversal big epic event in the Ventures, she ended up losing her power during that, and she's just back to being the regular Echo. And I think this month, her and Daredevil have a team up miniseries coming out. But yeah, her alone is not. If she had I don't know if she's ever had a solo ongoing series. Um,
Right.
and I don't see that she has a big
I'm
fan support for it. So yeah, I think I'm not really interested in the show. She was
right.
okay in
I
Hawkeye. I
right.
only liked Hawkeye because of Jeremy Renner. And if they're
Right.
going to do a show without him, I'm not really interested.
Right. Yeah. This brings up 2 points I wanted to make. One is who watched the Hawkeye show? Okay, who watched it? Not
Me,
many people is the answer. And two, I'm not saying that it couldn't work or this character couldn't work. I'm trying to be like if I was to put on my stupid helmet and come up with a foolproof way for this to make sense, I would imagine, and this is the bone I have to pick with this that you have as well. There are so many other storylines that you could borrow from. Like, okay, if you wanted to introduce this very tertiary character, you can, but I would imagine, wouldn't you want to have the Daredevil series first, to try to capitalize on any remaining goodwill that the fans have out there? Because I might show up to watch it. What if they didn't emasculate him and it was just like more of the Netflix Daredevil? But like why can't you do? Because that's it. Why can't you just you're not reinventing the wheel here. Netflix did it. They introduced characters that nobody would give a shit about, honestly, like Iron Fist. I mean, that was kind of like a dud anyway. But Luke Cage, I cared about that. Punisher, obviously, that's big. But like, why wouldn't you like lead in with these other major characters to do the heavy lifting and do that stupid Disney thing where they take a minor character and they insert them for whatever reason? Like you could do that with her, but like this being the next one out the gate, I don't who's gonna I don't
right?
like there
Well,
is no buildup. It's very peculiar for them to do this, especially when they're masters of interwoven storylines and introducing characters that might not be the best top end popularity. I just I don't
well,
understand what they're doing
well.
here.
If
I don't.
you're going to develop characters, like say Echo,
They suck
go
at
with
it.
what they need to do is see what the fans respond to. Say if
Right.
they put out Hawkeye and everybody was talking about on Twitter and on social media and
Right.
in real life, if they were to talk about, hey, did you see the newest Hawkeye? Did you see that character Echo? That was amazing. If that was the response, then I could see where you'd want a series about the character.
Sure.
But
That's another
if
way
it
to do it.
was yeah, but if the show is sort of like you get decent numbers and there's no traction with the character, why make a series about that character?
I just
It's been proven that at this point, just because it says Marvel doesn't mean that people will watch, and you
the,
can't ride that train anymore.
the brakes are there are no more brakes on the car. Like you've chewed through them. Now you're just gripping, like you're just not. I mean,
Hmm.
I just don't understand how if you wanted to do introduce this character, that's fine. But I don't know what happened to the Disney Marvel of old. I don't know what happened. That's not true. I have my humble opinion, of course, but and we're not going to cover that here at length. But
Yep.
I just don't understand.
Yep.
But anyway,
Well,
that
and
I
also
was going to go.
they have it's kind of stacked against the show, but they could come out and it'd be a great show, and the people that watch it, there could be good word of mouth, and it could
I
blow up. Who knows?
I
But yeah,
right.
from uh,
No, go ahead.
but yeah, so but it still has the card stacked against it. It seems like they're planning for failure as opposed to planning for success.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know what they're thinking. And it just boggles my mind why how there's such a 180 how it's flipped. But and this
Hmm.
I think that's all I want to say. But
Hmm.
and we're not really beating a dead horse. We're not really these aren't It's just kind of, this is like the they
We're
call it the Disney malaise. Like this is what it feels like. It's what it seems like.
yeah. I think we're beating a dead Miss Marvel.
Yes, we are. And to kind of, and we're not going to hang on too long in the tooth, but there's just a lot of Disney material this week in particular. And this one kind of hit home a little bit for me. So basically, moving on to the next story, Disney Star Wars. Okay, so this gentleman is actually who I wanted to model my YouTube persona, kind of, sort of, if that makes sense. After, to be a little bit more positive in things, and not just be, because neither one of us are shock jocks, and we're just here for what we want to find, and obviously talk shop here as for a grab bag, is let our hair down a little bit. But I just kind of made me sad a little bit. But apparently, Star Wars Theory, who is one of the most popular Star Wars YouTubers, has always been. He's collaborated with Disney. He's been very positive, very supporting. Even despite post Star Wars trilogy, he's a very big OG fan of Anakin, and the prequels. He's probably it's probably his favorite series, to be honest.
Mhm.
That I understand for him. But apparently, anyway, and this made the news. This made it in my WDW Pro feed. He talked about it, but it went far and wide. It was enough to comment on. But Disney has effectively, he has, through the grapevine, found out that he is no longer going to be able to work with Disney ever again, because just like Apple back in the day, I don't know if you remember in the tech world, but Steve Jobs and Apple, if you got a hold of something like Gizmodo or whatever, famously, like with the iPhone or whatever, like, you were blackballed. You were not. You were given like the last people on earth to get
Mhm.
any that this happened to him. Disney's no different. But for whatever
Mhm.
reason, they just couldn't come to terms. And although I kind of stepped away from his channel a little bit, because like there just wasn't anything there like that was resonating, to be honest with you, over the last few years. But I still enjoy his content. He is a great YouTuber. He's very positive. I think he had cancer. He beat cancer. But just a good, wholesome Canadian fella that is a true blue
Mhm.
fan of Star Wars. And he's like the last guy on the internet to be like defending them, or just trying to be reasonable, trying to have a conversation like, hey, you
Mhm.
don't like it, that's fine. He handles it in such a professional fucking way. I just think it's very dirty of Disney to do that to him.
Mhm. Yeah.
If and this looks to be true, I'd take it. He's never lied before. I don't have a problem with him.
Mhm.
Like, I offline, I kind of told you like why I stepped away, but that has nothing to do with this. But in any case, like, give him a look. Maybe you'll find something you like. But that's kind of like another like shout out. But anyway,
Yeah.
but in any case, I think we can go on to the next one. Finally off the Disney wagon. Any other comments before we wrap up the Disney Miss Marvel segment here,
Mhm.
as we go through, sliding through the week?
Nah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I saw this and I thought it was cool. Very cool. It looks like it's closer. I have high hopes. Telltale,
Mhm.
the Telltale folks have a great track record for several
Mhm.
titles. I think they did Minecraft. My kiddos
Yeah.
loved it. They did
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I think, famously. Also very good.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, but so
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be playing it for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we could play it on stream and have if we get an audience, we could have them help out with our decision making as
I
far
think I'll
as
have my
which.
capture card by then, way before then. I hope, but
Okay.
I'll probably just hook up because I have a. Well, this would be a good excuse to go get a PlayStation 5, but I'll try not to do that. But in any case, there is the Expanse show. Great show. It's on Amazon Prime. Picked it up, but great recommend too. Might as well.
Mhm.
You won't be disappointed.
Yep.
And then kind of moving on. Oh yeah, we covered this in our thing, in our main
Uh,
event. But
yeah, we talked about Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, Netflix is they've parted ways with Netflix. They couldn't meet eye to eye on the series, which is probably for the best. Netflix. The people that are behind the Conan, uh, property, they want to do it right, and they're
Right.
not going to compromise and for their vision of Conan. So they haven't said why they parted ways, but I speculate that maybe Netflix wanted to put certain things in that wouldn't jive with with Conan. But there are Titan Comics is coming out with a brand new uh, Conan comic book that I believe comes out in July. So be on the lookout for that.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on down the line.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, here we go. So
Yeah,
Archie Comics
uh,
is doing something, huh?
yeah, they're introducing their first trans character. I believe it's in Strange Science, but just an interesting title to put it in. But yeah, it's
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I
Curious.
yeah, they haven't done the big headlines. Archie and Jughead has a transgender person, and I expected a bunch of uproar. But because people when they hear Archie and Archie comics and Jughead
Riverdale.
and Betty and Veronica, yeah, they think of the old comic books,
Right.
which is very kid friendly. So I could imagine people getting up in arms about it. But they've revamped Archie at this point. They put out a lot of. They're aiming more towards older teenage audience. They've put
MA.
out with a bunch of YA stuff. Oh, they've done a lot of horror comic books and they've done some shows, some more teenage kind of shows like Riverdale,
Right.
which has that kind of CW kind of vibe to it.
Right.
That
A bit
has, I
more
think, has
edgy.
a has a murder mystery going on.
Right.
And on Netflix, they had the Sabrina, the Teenage Witch series, which was a bit darker, whatnot.
Right.
So having a
Shitty Twin
trans
Peaks.
yeah, so having a transgender character isn't out of line for them, and it's being written by Madge Visaggio, which is a transgender person, and she's writing it. I'm sure she'll be writing it from her experience. So yeah, it's sort of a it's not surprising, and it's not I just wanted to maybe if you guys hear about it out in the world and needed it to be broken down as far as this isn't the Archie that you remember. This
Oh
is the
yeah.
new Archie.
Different
So
era. Yeah,
you
different
know
era.
so maybe your teenage kid might be interested in this. Who knows? But yeah, it's out there, and just to let you know about it.
Right on. Yeah, well, comic books live and die by their storylines, and there's a million times like where a controversial third rail type topic has been covered by comics, which was amazingly
Mm-hmm.
successful. You're talking about ancient history here, but the 60s, the 70s, etc. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's always been something. So
Yeah,
if it resonates, it
well,
resonates. But
yeah.
if it's
If you
just
think about it,
because,
mhm.
you just don't know. But
You make a good point. The first appearance of Black Panther was in the '60s on the Fantastic Four.
yep,
He was famously on the cover. They redesigned the Black Panther's costume to cover his face,
right,
so that the when the comic books got put out in the South, they would still be on the spinner racks because so you wouldn't see the color of the skin of the actual character until you actually opened it up. So they were able to get on the newsstands by manipulating that. But they were on the edge of such social change even back then. So.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, you had like Alabama, even in the 70s, and it's funny how sports plays into that with culture. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into a big thing, but just kind of touch point. Comic books are the same thing. Like comic books break down barriers or can, but You got to have a storyline. You got to have character development. You got to have a lot. You got to have good art. You got to have
Yep.
a lot of things. It can't just be
Yeah.
check. It can't be box checking because people walk away from that and
Yeah.
they don't care. But
Right. Yeah.
Hope Springs
Yeah.
Eternal. Maybe this becomes
Yeah.
a thing, and maybe who knows? Maybe we get it picked up by Rivendell, like when our
Yeah.
Riverdale by CW.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. 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 Can't be a gimmick. It has to
Right.
have a story behind it.
Better way to
A
put
good
it. Yeah.
compelling story. So yeah, if they do that, then yeah. Visaggio's track record as far as a writer hasn't been. It's been kind of hit or miss. So.
Mm,
we'll see. I'm not
sure.
going to cast dispersion on it because I haven't read it. So
Right.
but
Right.
yeah,
Right on, right on. Yeah, I just wanted to I guess we're ready to go into recommendations. Do you want to do yours real quick?
sure.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yep.
Storm number 1. What is this?
Well, it's pretty cool. They're telling a story from the past when
Okay.
it's focused on Storm when Storm was the leader of the X-Men back in the 80s.
That's
She had the cool mohawk. This is when I first started reading X-Men. This was when I started reading it when she was the leader. And I didn't think that was
awesome.
strange. I thought that was cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. So back then, they were trailblazing back then. It's written by Anne Nesenti, which she didn't write those back in the day, but she was one of the female editors that worked with Chris Claremont, who was the original writer
Right on.
of that time period for the X-Men. So she knows the characters, she knows that timeline. So I expect, and this is going to be a limited series, so I expect this to be pretty good. So this
Awesome.
comes out this week.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to hit up while we were talking about the thing. I got reminded randomly. I remember this is just a stupid recommendation for me, like from childhood, but I remember this TV show, and what got me thinking that way was our Conan show. But I was like, oh man, what did I watch when I was a kid? Like He-Man and da da da. Anyway, Brave Star. So throwback to that. Anyway, it's just a kid thing. I don't know if you ever saw it or not. It
Yeah, I
probably
think that
wasn't
was
that popular, but enough.
it was it was probably I probably aged out of it at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
but the funny thing, I meant to bring this up in our podcast on
Space Western.
Conan. But yeah, there was this big rumor back in the day that that He-Man sprang from a canceled Conan the Barbarian line of toys, which Hasbro had started work on a Conan toy line. But then when they realized how violent the movie was, they canceled the series. If you look at He-Man, he kind of looks like what a Conan figure would look like. But
version, family PG version.
But to kind of spoil that rumor, they actually started working on the He-Man line before Conan. In fact, I was reading online where I think the Conan the people that have Conan tried suing Hasbro for doing that with He-Man, and they lost because they could prove that they actually had started the line before that. So just to kind of quell that that rumor.
That's awesome. Yeah, it reminded me, and I was like, oh man, I got to check that. I got to throw that on the watch list on Amazon Prime or something one of these days.
Yeah.
Or if it actually be physical media. That's what I've learned. Anyway, moving on to sliding over to your YouTube pick of the week. We got Meat Canyon, Meat Canyon.
Yeah. So this is for it's adult cartoon, so don't have the kiddos watching this. No. But yeah, if you're into the kind of the disgusting humor of Ren and Stimpy, you can but he focuses on kind of YouTube drama for the
Mm.
most part.
Okay.
He'll I think he did one on the Mario movie, but and what the fans are kind of expecting for it. But yeah, it's it always gets me chuckling in it. And if you are familiar with what he's kind of roasting in the cartoon, that's extra gives a little extra to it. But yeah, it's give it a watch. None of them are very long. Looks like you're having trouble playing it. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's
Um,
okay. Like sometimes I don't, sometimes this thing just is
mm,
wonky, but it is what it is. But and I also don't
yeah,
have it set up in the best mode to share a video anyway, so that's fine.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
cool. I'll have to check it out. Like that's funny.
yeah, yeah. All of them are real short. So yeah,
Awesome.
if you turn out to not like it, there's one about what's his name from that TV show. Gosh, okay, now scroll down a little bit. Maybe we can um what's the show on CBS about the nerds? Big Bang Theory. Yeah,
Big
there's
Bang
that
Theory.
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That
there
I
there it
never.
is.
eh,
Yeah,
Where is
that
it?
Bazinga episode. You
Oh
see
my
that?
god!
Yeah, that one's a particular favorite of mine. So yeah, if you
Damn it! Didn't mean to hit that one.
yeah, it's
Bazinga!
about that character crawling out of the TV and creeping people out. But yeah.
Good grief! Here, I just had it too. There we go. I wanted to keep the main one. That's funny. Yeah, we're it'll get in a slideshow here in a minute. Oh, whatever. It's gonna do this. Yeah. So no, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out in a little bit, and that'll be
Yeah.
in the description down below, show notes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Speaking of new comics, and new YouTubers, mine for this week is Mullet Man Comics. Um, he's got 350K subscribers. Like he's got that right thing. I like it because what was it? It was Thor. This is I th- I think Secret Wars number 8. I think I tracked down. Or I can't remember
Hmm.
the exact title, but this, or excuse me, Avengers Forever number 8. He covers
Hmm.
this comic. This is what I found him on, and I watched a few other ones too. And I
Hmm.
love it because sometimes it's nice to be able to dial down into a good storyline or just a unique one. That doesn't necessarily mean this is the greatest Thor storyline of all time, but it's from
Hmm.
2015, and I love it because it lands you in a new time, a new era, and you can enjoy this. And go back and read This is this is kind of the point of our show, like which is to inspire folks to go out and find new things. And this storyline is one that I can't wait to turn my subscription back on to do it. Although I suppose I could probably find it on Amazon. I just don't
Yeah.
read because I just assumed that Comixology was shit canned. I just assumed that I can't read comic books, but that's not always true on
Right.
Amazon. But obviously, but yeah, this is just
Hmm.
one I found. Moltman Comics.
Hmm.
Shout out to him. Great content. Just like a quick and dirty. You give him 5 minutes
Hmm.
and he'll, or 10, 15 minutes. You get some time. And if it piques your, it's so random. I'm sure it's a little bit more put
Hmm.
together than that, but they're just
Hmm.
so fascinating that I've seen, and I think I've
Hmm.
actually caught. I think he does some shorts too. I think I also caught him on shorts first, which I normally don't do. But like there'll be just be something so compelling, and you'd be like, okay, let me see this, and then you go see more. Long form content I prefer,
Hmm.
but he does a great job. Shout out to him. So anyway, I think that a little bonus there. We covered that in our main show. You'd know that if you went to our main show and saw it, which is kind of coming up here on the caboose of the show,
Hmm.
which leads us. That anything else did we forget anything in the grab bag before we close it up?
No, but the
Yeah.
Nerditos may have noticed my new lighting. I'm trying out the different colors. I did red for Conan stream, and I did green for this one. If you have a suggestion of what color you want to see next, you can do it in our comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you don't care about the color, say something about what we talked about. If you have an opinion on it, give us an opinion.
Sure,
But yeah.
give us one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, will forever be in my mind's eye Return of the Jedi green. That will always be Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker green, before they killed my baby. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
commiseration all aside.
And you're referencing Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kill them. Disney's good at killing parents, and they're good at killing your childhood heroes. That's kind of like that was a trope in Disney movies for a long time. What was like Frozen, Bambi. I could go on, but I think the only one.
Conan the Barbarian. Oh wait, that wasn't Disney. But his parents were killed.
Right. Yep.
He could very well be a Disney princess if you think about it.
It is 2023. That is for sure.
It is. Yep, it is.
All right. Well, I've been Mike.
And I'm Thomas.